So, hello again to whoever's watching this, and welcome to episode, I believe, 6 or 7 in my multi-part video log series going over my Ubisoft NXT 2026 level design submission and design process. So, it's been a hot minute. For a bit of a recap from last time, I ended up in the top 10 students who are going on to proceed further into the Ubisoft NXT level design competition. I was accepted because Ubisoft liked my layout so much, and they have since sent me an Unreal Engine file containing a bunch of assets necessary to create my level. So, what have we done since then? First of all, my first step was to redesign my level. So this is what it was like before here. So the problem I was mainly having was it was too long and too narrow for the type of hallways I was going for. So originally I intended for this to be about as big as you possibly can get for a yacht, which the real world equivalent would be about 120 meters long. I've since had to shorten it down to about 90 meters because that is within the limitations of the parameters that Ubisoft has given me for this assignment. So I've taken a level and I've pretty well done, I call it the bulldog treatment, where I've made it shorter and wider. This is in reverse order here, so it's a little weird looking, but what I've done is I've removed some rooms and overall just trimmed the fat from my level, shrunken things down where they can, and then widening out the hallways to make it so it's a bit more navigable by the player. Even though I've done that, there's still some problems we're going to go over in a bit when we get to the actual level itself, but in terms of changing the design of the level itself, that's mostly what I was going for. Also, I removed a few of the enemies in the level because I need to be within the limitation of 12 enemies within the level. So a few guys had to get cut and have been replaced with cameras, because cameras are, well, the camera is, it needs to be part of the level, obviously. But I want to increase its importance, the importance of the junction box to turn off all the cameras. So by adding more cameras in the level, there'll be more value for the player when they go over and they try to turn off the power to be able to reduce the number of cameras that are an obstacle for them. So, what we've all been waiting for is the actual level in Unreal itself. So in my last video, I went over all of the design metrics stuff and the gym that Ubisoft gives you to help you learn about all the necessary blueprints and all the metrics that you're going to be using for your level, which is this here. This has been an insanely valuable resource, along with the documentation they provide for you. It's been so valuable to be able to just go back here and refer to things when you're trying to make the level proper. Especially these guys over here, the little enemy AIs. Figuring out how their pathing works has been really not necessarily too challenging, but it's been good to be able to come back and refer to this every single time I need help with it. Moving on from that, let's go to the actual level itself. So as you can see, I've had quite a lot of progress. It's been quite a bit of fun having everything pieced together and actually appear as starting to look like a boat. It's been pretty satisfying, I'd say. It feels like I'm kind of playing with Legos, to be honest, when I was a kid. So because of the way the modular pieces they give you and how everything fits together, it's been fun. But anyway, let's get down to the meat and potatoes of it. Let's start with the lower deck, I suppose. We can hide the upper and the main deck here. Some stuff I still need to organize. I've been trying to keep things as organized as possible because I need to send this to Ubisoft for a checkup on December 8th. So I want things to look nice and neat and tidy as much as I can to get a better shot at winning the position. Yeah, so you know what? Let's play it. Let's play the level. Originally, I intended for the player to start on a sandbar, which is not in the reference photos I have here, but the idea would be that the player has the option of either entering from the lower deck or the main deck. I haven't put the sandbar in just yet, because I wanted to focus more on the boat itself, because I didn't want to focus on the sandbar too much if I ran out of time and I only have the sandbar done and I need to have the whole boat done. The sandbar wouldn't be too big, but it just gives the player an idea of the sense of scale of the boat itself and an opportunity to be able to look around and maybe see some of the enemies coming through some of the windows over there maybe as they pan around. Yeah, let's take this ladder up and make our way over to the lower deck. This is a little room here. It's gonna be a little bedroom. I haven't, on the lower deck area, I haven't put in any of the set dressing just yet. That's gonna be a later stage. I wanted to have the actual entire level blocked out first before I go on to the more finer details. Here's a little door. Got that working there. This is a camera here. I have this little window, so in this door here. I might want to put a window in one of these walls so the player can see the camera and avoid detection before they end up moving forward throughout this part of the level. The idea here is that the player will be able to cut through these rooms here as the camera pans back and forth in order to avoid detection by it. Let's just keep going this way. And then here is where the ladder is, going up to the main deck, and then over here is the way over to the kitchen. So unfortunately at the moment I don't have any enemies on this floor specifically, but what the camera does is when it spots you, it causes all enemies to go over to your position, which there'll be a couple enemies on this floor, so that'll be part of the challenge for the player to overcome. Let's just ignore the camera for now though, because he actually poses no threat at the moment other than, shining a red light on us. Here's what the kitchen area here. This is where I discussed the, let me get it out over here. The elevator. We're going to come back for the elevator because we have to go all the way around to pick up the key for this locked door right here, which does not work. This is the meat locker area. There's going to be an enemy in here patrolling as a threat, so when the player gets detected by the camera, that they actually have something to to face against. Let's go back around. So let's discuss this ladder here. Originally, I wanted to have a stairwell here. So if we go over back to my my little layout thing, you can see if I can get it to pop up here. Just one second. Yeah, there we go. Originally, what I intended for was this two stairs to be kind of grouped together so the player can easily go between all the floors really quickly. But what I didn't take into account was the length of the stairs themselves. Given the constraints I have for how big the yacht needs to be, like how specific they want it to be, like they have to have it be 90 meters, right? It makes it very difficult to have the stairwell in because it chews up so much distance. We're gonna get to that as well to the when we get to the elevator part. But I guess originally I intended the stairs to be well, I kind of foolishly designed them to be pretty well instantaneously. The player will be able to get from between the floors without having to go upwards on an angle. You know what? I'll show. Let me show you here. So if I try to fit the stairwell here, all the stairwells are either 3 meters by 4 meters or 4 meters long or wide. So it would be very difficult for them to fit across this area here, and the distance going upwards would take up so much of the space here that it would leave pretty well just this corner for the player to be able to get up to. We'll do a little checkup here, and then go to the main front area of the ship. So these stairs here they go up 5 meters, and they encompass quite a distance. As you can see, the player has to. It's about these metrics here are always good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's like 9 meters across to go 5 meters upwards. It's quite a lot of space that needs to be used up by just these pieces here. So I've decided to scrap the stairway in the hallway in favor of having ladders, which doesn't make as much sense on a luxury yacht to have ladders instead of stairs, but given the constraints I have, that's what we're going to have to go with here. That's also why this is a ladder here and not a stairwell. This is the upper deck. We're not going to touch on it too much just yet because it's not entirely finished. Anyway, moving on from... See, these are the enemies here. They got triggered because of the camera going off here. I'll just let them kill me. Let's just go all the way back up. You know, let's fly up to the top. Let's get the main deck and upper deck back up again. The other path will have the player pretty well start right here, so let's start from here. This is the foyer area. I haven't put the fountain here, but there will be a fountain right here to help break up this guy's line of sight a bit. He doesn't have that high a range, so he's not seeing me right now, but I got the pathing to work properly. Oh, hold on. Uh-oh. Sorry. I got the property, the pathing working properly to put in the natural diegetic gameplay of the player having to pick a certain path to get through in order to proceed. Sorry. So to kill those guys real quick. So it forces the player to either take the left or right path. This right area here, which was the boardroom, the meeting room, I might have to change what its purpose is because the way that the stairwell cuts into the room has given it a bit more of a different shape than I originally intended. Before it was a pure square, but now there's this little chomp in here. I might have to find a way to repurpose this room a little bit. Or maybe like this is like a little hallway and then put a doorway here or something. But it's just also part of, as the level progresses, when I actually get to the design process. As this level is progressing, its design is changing. Given the actual world space I have and using the proper modular pieces for it. This is the casino room, which ended up being far smaller than I thought it was. I might have to repurpose this room as well because I found that the cameras can see you through walls because of the way the cone works. Enemies cannot do that, but the camera does. So the original intention of having the camera pan back and forth and the player tucks behind little like roulette tables might have to change. Here's the hallway over here. Let's cut our way back over to the projector room and the home theater. Now, I'll admit the home theater is not quite as impressive as I envisioned. So it's become more of a lounge area. Little projector and the little screen over here. This is another problem with having the stairway here. Because it does leave a big old cut into this room as well, so I've had to change the shape of it. I didn't realize at the time how humongous a home theater was, so this has become a bit of a lounge theater, a lounge area just instead, where people can just go and watch movies and stuff. But I did keep the projector room in, as well as this lovely modeled projector, which I've used using the modular assets that I've been given by Ubisoft. Here's a little note here, which I figured out how to use the custom notes. From Mr. Rob here. He's talking to Mike, who is covering his shift as the projector repairman. And as you can see at the bottom, it has the code for the door to the senator's office. Anyway, let's keep going. This is the elevator and the main deck kitchen. And one of the enemies that came over and fought me over there, he patrols back and forth between these two hallways here, and the player has to duck behind this table in order to avoid line of sight from him. I'm going to be sure to have the metrics properly set up so that he can't even see you if you're right here. We'll talk about so. We'll probably have with the elevator is I want it to be locked behind having to get the key, but unfortunately due to the way the blueprint works, you can just call it from the main deck, so that's a bit of a cheese strat. We're going to have to find a way to get around that. This area here is a bit unfinished at the moment. It was going to be the big dining room area and also the bar and the pool. I'm going to combine the two rooms together and have one big pool area and then a dining room area over here, just for the sake of spacing. I've pretty well cut out most of the bar because just the way these stairs here, they just take up so much space that it's really tough to be able to fit them anywhere else. While still remaining having the while still keeping the like the pool and stuff, but. Let's go down over here. This area over here, I'm pretty proud of the way I managed to get everything to look together with just the modular pieces. I think it looks pretty cool. Like having these ramped parts here, they don't really give you very good ramps and stuff for like these. Well, having that's a big problem I had with the with getting the natural shapes. Well, not really natural, but the smooth curved shapes of the yacht itself was a bit of a troubled thing to do because they don't let you use your own models for this. So using creatively using the ramps was a tough thing to do for this level. Here's the big garage. Normally there'd be a guy patrolling around here. But unfortunately, he's dead. I killed him. I killed him up here. But here's like a little tuck away area where the player can like hide when the guys. Yeah, actually, we can just yeah, where this guy here, he's patrolling along this path, so the player can like tuck in this room here to avoid detection by him, or just sneak up behind him. And then over here is the electrical room or the engine room, where you can toggle off the power and turn off the cameras and stuff. Other than that, I think that's most of the main deck I've discussed. Oh, here is the what's his name? The chef with his key, of course, for the pantry. I haven't quite figured out how to have him speak just yet, but as long as he just gives out the key, I think it's fine. His role's been done. Let's go back around to show off the little, sorry. Let's go back here and look at the elevator, which is actually down here. As you can see, I'm unfamiliar with my own level just yet. Yeah, this way. And this is the key to the pantry room, which gives access to the food elevator, which is far bigger than I envisioned. Yes, we can discuss that. The elevator is humongous. I didn't want to resize it because I wanted to stay in line with the metrics that Ubisoft provides. I think that they want to be really strict about that, so I'm going to try and be super strict about it. So the food elevator has gone from being a tiny little cramped space that only you can fit in if you're crouching to a full-on actual elevator. I don't want to scrap the idea because this is kind of the main thing that Ubisoft liked about my level to begin with, so I want to keep it as reminiscent of the original level and the concept as possible. But it has negatively impacted the way that the rest of the level is structured, I'd say, because it just takes up so much space. Like the entire top deck I'm going to have to redesign because of how big the elevator itself is, and as well as how big the stairwell is. And that's also changed the way the main deck looks by having the by removing the dining room area and also the bar and the pool, which is unfortunate. But as I keep going with this, I'm just going to keep redesigning things. I'm going to have to do a big ol' editing of the entire level itself come the next check-in, which is on December 8th, where they take the top 10 people and they cut them down to the top 5 people who are continuing on to the next stage of this challenge. I think I can make it to top 5, ideally. I think it's possible. As long as I keep at it and I actually have most of the level built already by then, I think there's a definite chance that I can move on to the next stage, but we'll see. What else? I think that's about it for today, or for today's video. I just want to build up mostly the shapes of the ship itself and have all the rooms in it before I actually do the blueprinting stuff. I did a little bit for the main deck and the upper and the lower floor just to get like a sense of what the blueprints are like and how to properly use them, how they function. Making sure to get the elevator in was one of the first things I did because I wanted to be able to make sure to have a level be properly scaled and have all the proper metrics based around this elevator, considering I had to change my design so much because I had to take into account its large scale. But anyway, that is probably it for today. Thank you for watching. I'll probably have a video in by next week or 2 weeks from now. Actually, I have to submit for the first stage, so probably next week as I work diligently on this assignment. Anyway, thanks for watching.